So now I have a lot of scanners. I got the Epson 400 2 right up here. I got the 580, the newest one from Epson document scanner, 580W. So this video is a little different. And basically, I have a little bit of a problem. I bought some postcards. You ever seen postcards and then they have what I call a supporting item? Like a little trinket with the postcard and they're bundled together, and you sit to yourself, how am I going to scan this stuff and get it in one picture if it's two separate things? I recently went to an auction and I purchased 53 items, and I paid $17.50, about 33 cents a piece for postcards and a supporting item. 43 of the 53 items were postcards with a supporting matchbook cover. So this is Lake City, Florida Holiday Inn that we're going to mess with here, and then this is the matchbook cover for the same hotel. So the person collected the postcard and the matchbook. I've come across this before here and there, but it's unusual for me to see this many at one time, and this is why I purchased them. And I paid 33 cents a piece for them. It wasn't too bad. My question is, how am I going to create this listing with the photos, and how am I going to price them together? It's a novelty to have a matchbook and a postcard. It's what they're paying for. You don't come across these all the time. There might be a lot more out there, but you see matchbooks, you see postcards, but to combine the two places together. Now all the matchbooks don't have any matches in them, which is great. I don't have to deal with that problem. So that's out of the way. But my concern is, I want the matchbook and the postcard together in the main photo on eBay, the first photo that they see in search, so they see the two items. If I just put the postcard there, or I just put the matchbook there, I don't think it gives it the novelty. So how am I going to do that and show them together? Scanning is also going to be an issue because the different sizes. I got Continental postcards and postcards. That's no problem. I can put them in my duplex Epson scanners. But that matchbook, they're a little bit smaller, and I don't think they're going to catch on the wheels in the big Epson scanners in my 580 or my 400. But I have that little ES60W scanner that we're going to look at, and I've done cigarette cards with that, so I think I can use that. Also, the matchbooks have writing on the inside, just like this one. It has the cover that you would fold over on the matches, but on the inside there's some writing, and I want to make sure that the matchbook people see that as well. I'm not a matchbook collector or seller. I don't sell those, but I think they would want to see the inside. So that's my dilemma. And I'm going to walk you through in this video my solution and how I come up with it. We're actually walking through it as I'm creating my solution. I did some brainstorming and some testings, but not much. So you're going to see me in my raw form trying to figure this out. And I think it came out pretty good. I got a lot of different tools here. Heck, I got almost as many scanners as Best Buy on their shelves sitting around here. I got a ES60W scanner from Epson. I got a 400 2. I got a 580W. I got a Fujitsu. I got a flatbed on my printer if I wanted to use it, but if I have to sell these by using that flatbed, I'll just lot them up and sell it to somebody else. I will not use that flatbed for this. It'd just take too long. But I see a lot of people do that. But I got a lot of scanners. So let's break it down. The first thing, let's talk scanning and photos first. How am I going to get that main picture to have the postcard and the matchbook together when the matchbook will probably not work in the big scanners? And then we're going to create a draft listing with the photos, and I'll walk you through that. I do have some different tools at my disposal. I got, like I said, the 3 scanners, the 580, the 400, and the 60. And then I want to put a border around the postcard. I've been using that with the Epson, so it shows the edges. The Fujitsu scanner can't do that I could figure out. But I'm not really worried about the matchbook. I want the postcard to have that, but I'm not that worried about the matchbook. The matchbook's the matchbook. So let's see how I can make this scanning work. here's a little clip I did with me working through it. So now I have a lot of scanners. I got the Epson 400 2 right up here. I got the 580, the newest one from Epson document scanner, 580W. The difference between these two is basically the LCD screen, and this is not wireless, this is USB, and that one is wireless, and it has the LCD screen on there. They both basically the same settings on both of them. Now, how I configured these, why I have two up here, this one I did not configure a border. The 400 ES400 2, I don't use a border because sometimes I take scans that I want to put into thumbnails and stuff. I don't want the border on there. So this one doesn't have the border configured. That one has the border that you'll see around the postcards I scan. And that's why I have two of them here. And plus that's my backup. And then over here I have the ES60W, and I got a video on that as well. That's a little portable document scanner for small items. So I'm set up to see which ones I want to use. Now I want to have, so that one's out because I want to put a border around the postcard. This one has the border, the 580. So I'm going to try to set it down here where you can see the two scanners as I go through. So this is the postcard that I out of the 43. This is a Holiday Inn postcard, and you'll see it clearer there. But this is one I don't remember seeing. It's different, and this one is Lake City, Florida. Nice condition chrome card. So I'm going to put it in the Epson 580. Just hit there, and then I go through and I use UPS connection. So I'm going to scan the postcard in there first. Let's see if the postcard works. It should, because I know it works. So that one is scanned. Now, the matchbook cover, is probably not going to work in here. Let's see if I put that in there like this, what happens. It stops. It doesn't work. I can't use this for matchbook cover. I'll use that here for these. For this matchbook cover is in this one. And then I'll just put it on the side here. Little beep, and I press that, and it goes. Now there's writing on the back side here, on the inside. So I got to put that in there. So I'll get that copied, and I'll press that one. And then those two will be put back together in the nice little sleeve on there. Now you're probably wondering, what the heck is that? This is connected there. This is what they call a power brick, power bank, battery that I charge. And since this is not tied to electric, it's got a battery. How I keep it running when I do a lot of scans like I'm doing now, because this battery runs pretty low pretty quick, is I put a battery into it while I'm doing it, and it keeps in there, and you can see that it's charging off of that battery bank, and this will give me a good amount of time. And you're probably wondering what these are. Remember when I did this, this is all my inventory for 2024. Well, January and February box, we're in March when I did this video. These are already scanned and ready to go for January and February of 2025. So when March gets done, I'll do the same thing. Fill the box back up, put a cover on it, and that'll be set for 2025. And that's basically what that is there. So if you got any questions, a lot of people sometimes have questions about that. That down there is my overstock and stuff that I pull from when I run out of stuff in this box. And you notice I used half of this box already for maybe lots or something else on there. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we scanned. I won't go through all the software and stuff like that with Epson, but let's see what we got scanned here. Here's the 4 scans that we did. The 2 postcards and 2 there. Let's take a look and see what they look like. So this is the postcard, if you didn't see there, and here's the border right on the side around here. This is what the Epson can do that the Fujitsu can't, And with the documents, I have the settings in Epson for the 580W and the 400 ES402. The same settings, I have that in the Ko-Fi store for free. You can download it and set up your Epson scanner to do that on those two scanners. And that way you can see the edges nice and clear. Where Fujitsu ScanSnap, I could not do that. I never figured out a way to do it. But this is the front of the postcard. This was the back, and you can still see the border. So the scans of the postcard are fine. I don't touch up my images or whatever. And then we get the matchbook. If you notice, that little scanner can offset it a little bit on there to get it straight sometimes. But the white up here is part of the matchbook. I looked at that, but I'm not that concerned about it. They get the gist of it. It's a matchbook cover. I'm not going to spend hours adjusting that. But then you look at this one nice and straight. This is the inside. So we have 4 of the scans there just fine. So I think I got a solution here. I did that. And as you saw, I used 2 different scanners. One for the postcard, which was the 580 because I had the border. The 400 I didn't use because I have that configured not to have border. I can turn it on again, but the 580 does the same thing. And then I used another scanner for the matchbooks, the 60W. What's neat about the Epson, if you standardize on the same type of equipment, the Epson ScanSmart software, I have the 60W, the 400, and the 580 configured in my Epson ScanSmart software. So whatever pops up, whatever I put that in, it automatically pops up on my computer as a scan. Now I did find out if I scan something in the 580 and then I go to my 60W, the little scanner, and try to put that in the same screen, it tells me I have to complete the scan and save that file first on the 580. Then I can do the 60. So you can't scan something on the 580, the software pops up, and then you go to your 60 and you want to put that in the same batch. You can't do that. It's got to be separate scans, saves in the software. So that was something new. I've never done that before. Not that I used it that often. How am I going to use these scans for the eBay photos? The main thing I'm going to put together is the postcard and the matchbook in one photo. And then I got the front and back of the postcard and the front and back of the matchbook, so I got 4 other photos. But I used 2 different scanners. I got 2 different things. They're not together. I just can't drag and drop, so I got to put them together somehow. Pick Collage. It's the same software I've talked about before, and I use in the Ko-Fi store for the scans of everything. So Pick Collage to the rescue. Here's a little clip how I use that tool, that application, to make this photo. So this is Pick Collage. It's right up here, PIC space collage. And there's links in the video description for this. I think I had to pay for it. I just updated it to the high definition version, and it was only $1.99. So instead of the lower resolution, I got the higher resolution now for $1.99. I think I bought mine in the Microsoft store, but the link will take you to Pick Collage. There's a lot of these programs out there. This one doesn't have all the ads and stuff, and I've just used it forever. People get caught up in different technology and apps. It's whatever works for me and I get used to. But when Pick Collage comes up, you can do different things. You got grids, freestyle, and there's templates for birthdays. If you see that lots in the Ko-Fi store, I use the grids. And so if I picked these 4 scans we did, that's what it would look like on a grid. And you can pick different grids and stuff like that. And that wasn't what I wanted. Now if you go back and you can delete that and say we just want to do the matchbook, we do a grid, and then we just want the front and the cover. I'm not really worried about the back of the thing. I'll put those in the listing as we'll see. This is not bad. That looks pretty good. That has the postcard and it has the matchbook in there. So we're going to save this one. You just check down here, and then you can, and it's going to build it, and then we'll say picture 1. Alright, so that looked pretty good. And now it's going to build the HD stuff. Let's go, and that's what it looks like. But it takes up the full screen, and it looks like this is part of that. So maybe I want to Pick Collage again and try a different one. I always do different things. So they have freestyle here. Freestyle is, and you just click photo, it'll go out and you get these two, and you can move these around all you want. So say I want to move this down, try to center, it doesn't center the greatest, and I put this here, and I make this a little bigger. It's a little crooked. Alright, about there. Let me move it over here. I want to show, this is how I want to show it. I want to make sure, this is called the great sign on the Holiday Inn. In my Holiday Inn video, I talk about this great sign. It's one of the mistakes, marketing mistakes of the century, they said, to a point when they got rid of that great sign. It was very costly to maintain those signs, and they changed their logo and stuff, and they said that caused a lot of issues and stuff. I talk about that a little bit in the video. But let's make this a little bigger. And there's the matchbook. So now they're separated a little bit. You got the border around it, and this is off to the side. So we're going to save that one, and it'll download the HD version. And we're going to call this Picture 2. And it builds the thing. And then let's go take a look at it. We'll close Pic Collage. And here's Picture 2. I like this one a lot better, is what I like. So that's Pic Collage. That's how I got the main photo. I got two photos to play with. I think the second one's going to be one I use. But let's go ahead and put this all together into a listing. Maybe skipped a few pieces here and there in the video, but you're getting the gist of it, of my thinking process when I'm putting something like this together. And I got to do this 43 times. So I want to make it as fast, but have quality as possible, but don't spend a lot of time, because I don't think a lot of these are, big dollar cards. So I got to make sure my productivities. So here's me in the eBay software trying to put the listing together. Now I'm moving right along here. If you notice, I skipped a few things that I took out of the video, but you get the gist of it here. But I'm moving along pretty good here on figuring out my solution. These are going to take me a little bit longer to do with the matchbooks and the supporting document. With the postcard, it does take a little bit longer. But let's build a draft eBay listing using the scans and collages that I just did. And let's see how it'll work. Here's the create your listing, start your listing. And if you notice, I got my templates here. These are all the templates that are already laid out. I just did a bunch of exhibit cards I purchased. So I made a template. I got ship photos, naval covers, postcards, and continental postcards, and naval ship prints, because those are in the lighter cardstock. What I'm doing is a postcard, basically. It's going to have the same thing. Let's click on that template, and let's see what it brings up. So here's your listing page on eBay. So the first thing that we worked on was the photos. So we did these two photos. This one I didn't care for, the number one. I like the second one that we did. So this is the one I'm going to use here with that. Now I want to add these, the back of these as well. So what I can do is I use that as my front photo, is what I wanted, the two things, the postcard and matchbook. Since you can put 24 photos up, I'm going to put all these other 4 in there. So the first one that they see on the search page is the postcard and the matchbook cover. And I'll put that in the title too. So I got my goal was to do that. Then I put the front of the postcard I scanned, the back of the postcard by itself. There's the scan of the matchbook, and then there's the inside of the matchbook. So if they want to drill down, they can do that. So I think I met my goal on doing the photos. Now with the title, I think the title and pricing, I got to talk about the two things together, the novelty of having the matchbook and the postcard together. But I also, put the keyword matchbook in there, postcard and matchbook of Lake Forest, whatever it is, Holiday Inn is what I would put there. So the title will take a little bit of work, but I think it's going to be about the subject of the postcard. But I want to make sure I get postcard and matchbook there. Then I would put my custom SKU field in there. I'd put the city the card's from. Down in the features, maybe I put matchbook. I copied the description down here. Now when you get the pricing, I think it's the same. The pricing is going to be determined by the subject of the postcard. The subject of the whole thing. on there is what's going to drive it. So that's what I'll search on. Plus, I'll give it a little bump for the novelty of having the matchbook and the postcard together. So that's basically how I put this together, is using that collage thing. And it will take a little bit more time. Remember, I got to do this 43 times. It's just a work in progress. So I think I have a solution to do the other 43 to get those out of the way, get those done. It'll probably, yeah, I can do it in one night to do these. What I'll do is I'll batch it up. I'll scan all the postcards and matchbooks together, because they're in a sleeve. Like this one's a Continental postcard and there's the matchbook. So I want to keep them together when I scan them. So I'll scan the postcard, save it, because you can't do different scans with the saves, and then I'll scan the little matchbook and save that, so they're right in my folder, all 4 photos right in a row. And then I put them back in the sleeve, if I don't knock them over. I put them back in the sleeve so I don't lose the matchbook with the postcard. I have to go back and try to do that on there. But there's different ways to do this. Everybody has their thinking processes and doing. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but this will be the most efficient for me with the tools I have. And I brought you along because I thought it would be, people wanted me to show you things I do. So this is how I think. So in summary, if you have postcards with sporting items, that main picture, I think, needs to have that novelty shown to them. Just showing the postcard or the matchbook, I don't think gets it. To get that novelty price, that bump, I think it's got to be up there on there. Now all the tools I used and applications are down in the bottom. If you have a question about it, just send me an email. I'll see if I can help you with that. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks. Here's some more fish.